computer. And what I can also do is I can give you like presenter access. So when I do the introduction, I'll then like sort of yeah, present pass it over to yourself.
Perfect. Great. So I'll just get all my windows up and get everything ready while we're waiting for everybody to file in here.
Nice. Where are you? What city are you in? You in Belgium or
No, so I used to be in Belgium. I was
Yeah.
working in the same city as Gary, but this summer I moved to Canada. So I'm to the north of Ottawa here, the capital.
And that's real snow behind you? That's is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a green screen, whatever.
Yeah, it's been snowing for the past 3 months, so this is like the first day in a few weeks that it's above zero. So it's a
Wow.
it's a warm day here.
Wow. Magic. Magic. Ah, that's cool. That's cool. A few people are starting to come in now. You all right, Tom? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, all good, mate.
How's it going?
Good, good.
Yeah, good Christmas and New Year?
It was nice, yeah. Yeah, it was nice to have a break and back to reality now, back to the grindstone.
Yes. I know the feeling. I do know the feeling. Yeah. Obviously, I've got tax return deadlines by the end of the month.
Oh,
So
God. Yeah.
yeah, it's all on go. Oh yeah. It's yeah, full cylinders at the minute. Yeah. You all right, Jack?
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Very good. Busy, obviously, with a cold snap, but as I'm sure everyone is.
Yeah. What city are you in? Whereabouts in England are you?
The nearest city is Norwich, but I'm in Great Yarmouth on the coast.
Okay. Nice.
But yeah, we've had obviously the East Coast has had, yeah, we're driving to work Tuesday is minus 8 on the van. So yeah, lots of frozen pipes and frozen condensers and stuff. Yeah, been a nightmare.
And the caravans? You do a lot of caravans being on the coast?
There are a lot. They tend to get wrapped up. You tend to get like people that around here that will specialize in caravans, and they'll serve as a boiler for like 40 quid, go in with a compressor and blast it. And they'll just because they'll do like 20 a day, so it's not really something we do. But we do a few holiday homes with like a bit like park homes, stuff like that. So yeah, there's yeah, one holiday park had about 5 frozen pipes in about 3 days. There's a nightmare. I
Okay.
mean, good for business, just bad for my stress levels.
Got ya. Got ya. I've got Ben coming into the room wanting to request to record it. Who's Ben? I'll record it on my computer, and I'm happy to send out a recording after. Yeah. So I'm just going to decline that. Yeah. But hopefully you're in the room, Ben. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll give it a couple more minutes, see if other people are gonna log on. Yeah, I know it's silly season at the minute, so yeah, asking people to give up their January is an evening in January is yeah, it's a big ask, but we'll see. Okay. I'll probably just crack on actually. What I'll do is first of all I'll make apologies for last month because obviously I have to change the date. I caught that virus which was going around and completely lost my voice. But we did redo it the week after. So I don't know if everyone got the recordings, whether they saw the recording.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, got that.
Yeah, okay, good. How it worked last time was it was quite it was quite there's only like a few people on the Zoom, so it was quite good. It was quite intimate. So we made it like more reactive. So if we're still so because there's like 5 of us in total, like please guys jump in, be interactive, and yeah, don't be shy to pipe up. Right, so I'm gonna literally just dive into it. I'm just gonna dive into it. It's my girlfriend's birthday today, and I completely forgot.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
I didn't forget it was her birthday. I just forgot that we had there's a webinar booked in because obviously we booked it all the dates 6 months in advance, and I just didn't
To
remember.
be fair, the fourth, the one that you were meant to do last month was my missus' birthday. So when you cancelled it, I was like, oh, yeah, so it worked out lovely.
Okay, so it worked out all right.
I
Okay.
think what threw me down because I don't know if anyone else did, but like obviously last time we got emails like reminders and stuff it was happening, but I don't think we got them this month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know whether that was just me, but when I like searched So like Megan, it just I only got the one from December. So yeah, that's sort of through. I was like, I went back on an old one and found out how to join us today, kind of thing.
Okay, right. I apologise about that. I will get an email
No,
back.
no, no, it's all good. I just thought I'd just let you know just in case.
Yeah, what it is, Jack, we're building this as we're going. So all these little things are going to be ironed out for.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why this is free.
Yeah, man, of course.
Because yeah, if he was paying for it, like yeah, it won't be as enjoyable. Yeah. So okay, you are just gonna say hello to Ian. You are Ian. Happy New Year, Happy Christmas. Okay, good. It was very faint, but I did hear a little bit. But yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm just gonna crack on. I'm gonna share my screen, and yeah, I'm gonna crack on with the presentation. So 1 second. There we go. Just doing it now. Right. Cheers for everyone joining on. Obviously, this is the third cohort, the third webinar, and you can probably still tell I'm getting used to this. Yeah. So what we're going to cover up today is up to page 250, and within this section, if you like, some of the part which is going to be covered. It's which Well's going to do. So you've got a gentleman here called Michael. He's from all the way from Vancouver. It's real snow in the background, which I've just found out. And yeah, so Michael's from Well. So Michael's going to jump in and cover like a bit of the IT section and also dive into the software and give you guys a massive demonstration. So please like shout out, like have questions. Like I said, because like quite an intimate group. Michael, could you do questions on the fly? Like if all okay?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the best way to do it.
Okay, good. Right, so last month we covered a lot of like the business theory section of the book. We also heavily looked into the 9 drivers of profit. I need like grasping the 9 drivers of profit for your business is literally going to do wonders. So I suppose at the end of this webinar, if we've still got time, if people have got questions they want to ask me about the 9 drivers of profit, the 9 drivers of profit, or anything that they want specifically answered about their business, then please like don't be shy to ask. So homework. Has anyone done their homework? Has anyone created any SOPs? Has anyone on the SOPs bandwagon? You can.
Yeah, I've been pushing through. It's been obviously mad busy, but I've been making a point of doing things of how to like. I've started quite small. How to when if a customer cancels a appointment, like we then put it to a different person in the diary and use like I've been putting those processes in, and sort of trying to make them better, trying to get other people to write their own and stuff like that. So it's getting there slowly.
Good. And you find the benefits of that benefiting your business already with efficiencies?
Yeah, for sure. And also I found that I've done a SOP and then quite quickly realised the mistake because people say, "Oh well, like you can see how you missed a point out, and then you can quickly go back and add it in." So yeah, it does work. I haven't quite jumped on the whale side of things yet, just because I've been mad, but I've just been doing them in like Word files and stuff like that. So
perfect. Sounds brilliant. Sounds good. Good. Okay. Good stuff. So, Michael, shall I just hand it over to you? Do you want to just do your thing? If I give you presenter, you've got presenter authorization. So yeah, I'll let you share your screen and yeah, everyone can jump in with questions.
Perfect. I think it segues quite nicely from what Jack was saying about creating his own SOPs. I think where Whale begins is really with the understanding that for a business to survive or a business to be profitable, it has to have structured processes, structured procedures, standard operating procedures. And I think that's a point that we all kind of agree with or understand conceptually. The reason that not every business out there survives or not every business is profitable is because creating, documenting, managing, and then training people on all of these processes and procedures is an enormous headache. It will take time away from the actual running of your business. It's a matter of sitting down, concentrating, reflecting, and then writing out all of these sort of processes and procedures. So this demo kind of consists of three elements. The heaviest element is the first element, which is related to creating processes, and where that piece starts is really with our mission or our goal to reduce the creation time for SOPs and processes down by 75%. So we're talking about creating your processes in a matter of minutes and hours, as opposed to weeks or months as it currently stands. So what you see here is just sort of the the general display of boards. We'll get into how content is organized a little bit later, but I wanted to start out with the creation piece, which is as I said, the most important element here. So depending on where you are in your whole documentation journey, that's going to determine which of the different creation solutions are most appropriate for you. So let's start out by assuming that you've already got some processes documented. Like Jack said, documented out in a Word or a PDF or something like that. This is something that Whale can certainly accommodate. So I'm going to try to get through this demo saying the word AI as little as possible. I think in past demos, I've said that you get an extra pound of discount for every time that I do mention the word AI. But AI is really it's the backbone of how we're able to reduce that document creation time down by that 75%. So if you've already got some digitization of your processes, so they're in things like Word or PDFs, we can take those processes and then convert them into the appropriate cards or playbooks within the Whale system. And I'll talk a little bit more about what cards and playbooks actually are, but they're very straightforward ways of digesting and consuming these actual processes. So that's what you do if you've already got some things in place. And we have a customer service team here at Whale that actually can provide best practices and even perform migrations of your existing processes. But imagine that you're just starting out in this journey and you really don't have anything documented whatsoever, or it's all on paper in dusty binders somewhere in the supply cabinet of your office or your home. What Whale is doing is we've got these three, four, depending on how you look at it, automated ways of taking information from different sources and then creating them as easy to follow processes in your own workspace. So the first thing I'm going to go through is what we call a step-by-step guide. This is ideal for the kinds of processes you have in your business that are, centered around a computer, that are not necessarily key to the field elements of your business, but are more related to back office stuff. So this is how we do HR. This is how we do finance. These sorts of processes are kind of the bookkeeper or the office manager's best friend. So what I'd like to do is start the step-by-step guide process here, and imagine that you've got an employee in your business, and this person is just asking all the time really simple questions. And one of those is, how do I request a day off in our HR system? So this is something that business owners are getting called up about from their employees, or the employees sending a bunch of emails about it. It's not worth your time as a business owner. So it's best to show them how that process is done. So to actually create the process, what I'm doing right here is I'm just going into the software that we use to manage holidays and days off. I'm going through the typical process of performing that request. And what Whale is doing is looking step by step into what's actually going on. And then based off of all those different clicks, all those different steps, Whale is noticing what's going on and then is going to, at the end, convert that flow into a step-by-step process in actual human language. So now that my HR system is cooperating, I'll just go ahead and select the day that I want off. Let's take it to the 11th, and then I'll say, yeah, type in a reason, test, do not approve, because this is our actual HR system, so I don't want my boss taking away from my holiday balance. And then here the process is completed in whatever software you're using for whatever. So accounting software, HR software, whatever. And then once I stop that recording, Whale is going to convert that into an actual step-by-step process. Okay. And let's see. There we go. Okay. I don't know if it's in a separate window here or where it's popped up. Okay. Yeah, so typical demo situation. I think it's actually gone into a window that I'm not sharing here. But what you're getting at the end of the day, I'll show is a step-by-step process based off of the actual clicks and the flows that you did there. So you just go through the actual process itself, you finish that process, and then it's created as a card within the Whale system. Okay, moving on, the next way of doing things, this is one of our most powerful features, particularly relevant to companies with professionals out in the field. It is the video to guide converter. So here, what's happening is it's taking a video that you upload into the system. So this is, that's where the previous one went. But I'm just putting a file into here. The situation is I've taken a video of replacing the printer cartridge in our office printer. I haven't narrated it or anything like that. It's just audioless video showing how a printer cartridge is replaced. And then what the system is doing is, I'll just put it there, for example. What the system is doing is it's looking at what's going on in the video. It's analyzing everything that it can see in there, and then it's turning that into a step-by-step process. So it's looking at the printer, it's understanding, okay, what kind of model printer is this? What's the model number on it? What's going on here? What's being done? And it's turning that into a process. And then just like in any good cooking show, I've got the finished product right here. So I'll just go ahead and jump to the finished product. So here we have the original video without any audio. And then without any prompting, without typing in any text whatsoever, it's understanding what's going on here in the video. And you get a link to the exact position in the video where this particular step is happening. So, let's take the situation of you're sending somebody out to replace a boiler. You want to make sure that every employee in your company knows how to replace that particular type of boiler. You just take your smartphone, you're recording the actual process of how it goes. And then what the employee can do is, in looking at the step-by-step guide, if there's any part of the process that's unclear, they get a link to that exact chapter within the video so that they can look at that precise step. So, turning off the mains, if I need to figure out how to turn off the mains, I just click at the that particular chapter in the video and it's going to take me right there. So just from uploading a simple video, what the system has done is turned it into a step-by-step process with actual written out language. Now, because this is the computer doing this, nothing is 100% perfect. So your job in terms of documenting your processes goes from author to editor. You're just looking at what the system is created, and you're saying, okay, well, this piece isn't necessarily relevant to my business, or this piece that whale spit out here, that's not necessarily the case. So I'm just going to type in a couple of replacements there. But the overall goal is that you're drastically reducing the amount of time it takes to write out these particular processes. One thing I should also mention is here I've given the example of an audioless video. So the AI, the system is able to understand what's going on without any sort of narration. But some of the most effective playbooks that our customers have created here are ones where you're visually recording what's going on, but then you're also doing a voiceover, and you don't have to be, you don't have to be a podcaster or, a documentarian to make good processes out of this. You just say in very natural language with all of your ums and ahs and things like that, this is how I go about replacing this particular type of boiler. And then the system is, weeding out all of those filler words and things like that and putting into very articulate, straightforward, and clear processes. The last element of creation that I will go into.
Sorry, Mark, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Can I ask everyone a question here? Can people see this working in their businesses? Does anyone want to like?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be, like I say, with the boiler install one, I think it's so varied. Like, I'd like to do it just to see what it produces. Yeah, but they're obviously also like so very varied. But I guess you can use it as a template, couldn't you, and like work from there and make it more general.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's an excellent point, because where the AI is actually good are in very standard procedures that don't necessarily vary too much from, let's say, equipment to equipment or business to business. So if there are nuances or things that make your business special, or if there are nuances with the kind of equipment that you work with that isn't necessarily like publicly available knowledge, then you're going to have to sort of supplement the AI a little bit more. You're going to have to edit a little bit more. And then this feature that I'm about to show now, this is particularly the case. So if you don't have a video, if you don't have a source document or anything like that, and you're like, I just got to start with a blank page, even there, Whale can assist you in writing something out so that you don't have to actually go and type out the process. And this is really good for things that are very general and don't vary too much or don't have that much nuance. Like one example that I've had from our own partners and customers is like we had one customer that was a horticulturalist, so into fruit production, and they said, well, let's see how Whale does for this. Give me a process for growing mini roses. And that's something that doesn't really, that it's a process of biology or horticulture. It's not really going to vary too much from business to business. They put it into this AI writing assistant, and what it produced was an actual process that was very, very close to the truth. And the reason for that is the AI is just scraping all publicly available knowledge on how many roses grow or are grown in a horticultural setting. And it's creating that into a step-by-step process. So here, again, this is this is an instance where you can really cut down on the production time for general processes by using the AI writing assistant.
Michael,
so
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt. Can we do one?
yeah. I was just about to type one in now. So give me a yearly maintenance procedure for a Bulex boiler.
Or,
then,
sorry, Michael, sorry to interrupt your
yeah.
thing. Basically, we're covering operations in the book today. So can I pick like an operations SOP? So it could be PO, so purchase orders system. So create a purchase order system for a plumbing and heating business.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's something we're going to cover later today. So I can show the people how the system complements everything else.
Yeah. Create process for do we want to say creating purchase orders?
Yeah, and the entire purchase order system. Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's say create a purchase order process. I'll say accounting.
Sorry, plumbing and heating.
Oh, okay. Oh, specific for plumbing and heating. Okay. I'm going to optimize by AI. Generate card. Okay, so it's talking about the scope. Prerequisites, so processes and prerequisite processes and procedures. Create purchase order, submit purchase order to vendor.
Yeah.
Order delivery. There we go. Aaron, how close do you think we got there?
90%. Like probably a solid 95%. That is magic.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, my audio cut out there a little bit. I heard 90%.
Yeah, no, 95%. That is magic. The speed that it can do it, and then obviously you just go in and edit it yourself, suit it for your own business, assign it to employees.
Exactly. That's the manual work that's left after this is customizing it, making it more relevant to your own business, and then eliminating any over enthusiastic AI gobbledygook that sometimes pops up as we see. So that's the heaviest element. That's the first element of how we're actually creating our processes, how we're getting them documented in Whale, and how we're doing that by saving up to 75% of our time, turning this from a process that would take weeks or even months of fully dedicated time where you're not necessarily able to dedicate your time to other things to something that can be done in an afternoon or a day or two for your entire business. So after we've figured out, okay, how do we create this? And so we've taken all of our business's knowledge and we've documented it into these straightforward, excellent processes. But if all the knowledge is available, it's only really useful. It's only going to have an impact on our business if it's accessible to our employees, to ourselves, to everybody working in the business that needs to follow these processes. And this is where Whale is doing quite a lot to make sure that they have all the information that's relevant to the people that it's relevant to and nobody else, and that they have that information instantly at their fingertips. So the first thing that I'll go into is the board library playbook card structure. That's kind of the hierarchy of these different filing systems to make sure that all of this information is easily accessible. And then the second element I'll talk about is the game changer that kind of makes all of that irrelevant in today's world. So here, you'll see the board page. This is kind of where you at the highest level, organize all of the different elements of your business. So very straightforward one is we've got a handbook for all of our employees. We've got something for the sales department. We've got something for operations, marketing, things like that. And this is where, you really want to think out, well, okay, how do I actually want to organize this? Because this is something that does vary quite heavily from business to business. If we think about every single board, every department, that department is going to be broken into different libraries. So there's a number of different aspects of XYZ department's job. So if we look at the employee handbook, everything that new hired employees need to know from an HR perspective is broken down into these different libraries about the company, policies and benefits, company tools, things of that nature. And then within each library, here we're actually getting into playbooks. So in this employee handbook, in the about the company section, we want a playbook for how we welcome people into the company. And that playbook consists of individual cards. So these are the individual, this is the smallest unit within the whale universe. It's a page where all of the information is being put, and that can be quite dynamic. So you can obviously upload videos and images, you can format the text, and you can even embed certain content, embed coded content like things like flowcharts and HTML content and things like that. The bottom line being that the information and the style reflects your business, the particulars of your business. Thinking about how you actually want to organize this out, you're doing that to make it as findable as possible. So you don't, you've spent all the time creating this information, creating these processes. You want to make sure that people can actually access it. So, without going into too much detail about the whole world of content management, that's kind of been the classical debate in that world for decades is, okay, how do you organize all these different files so that the information is actually findable and at the person's fingertips instantly? Now that question is kind of completely irrelevant, because it doesn't matter how well organized the files are when you're able to get AI to instantly find the exact answer that you're looking for instantly. And that's kind of something I've had some conversations with our customers where they're like, okay, well, I don't want my employees leaning too heavily on the chat bot, because I want them to actually go through the files. And our question to them is, if at the end of the day they're getting the exact answer that they're looking for, it doesn't matter if they're going through the files or they're asking a chat bot. So this element, the Ask Alice element, is what what is really giving people the exact answer, the exact information that they need instantly at their fingertips. And instantly, we'll see maybe in a matter of 10 or 15 seconds. So how many days of PTO do I get as an employee? So kind of a typical question that you're, an HR manager or even the business owner would get. You don't want to be answering those kinds of questions. You want Whale to do it for you. And what's going on here is the chatbot is going into just the content that you have uploaded into this workspace of Whale. And then based off of the information that you've made available, it's giving an answer. So you don't have to worry about contamination of sort of outside or publicly available information affecting the answer. So like if you ask it, like who asks the most premiership champion titles, it's not going to know. Why? Because the model is trained off of the data that you provide to it and nothing else. And then here I'm getting a link to directly where that information sits within your workspace of Whale. So it'll give them the answer, but then it'll also show them where they should be able to find it. My opinion is, if they're getting the right answer through the AI chatbot, don't make them go searching for seconds or minutes to find it in particular. The last thing I'll say about that is Alice is completely customizable. So if you want to change the avatar, you want to change the name, you want to change, and on a wider note, if you want to change the color scheme of whale, that's entirely possible, so that it reflects your brand, it reflects your business's identity. Another thing, so Axe is quite relevant, particularly for companies with field workers, like plumbers, heating professionals, things of that nature. Is if I want to share a particular piece of information. So let's go back to that example of the printer. I have a number of different ways that I can actually share that with the person, so that they're seeing this precise manual, how this is actually, how the maintenance or the cartridge replacement is actually done on this particular printer. Or let's use the instance of the example of a boiler or something like that. You want them getting that particular information directly. You can share it. Of course, you're going to get something like a link, so that you put that in, you throw that to them in WhatsApp or text message or something like that. That's completely possible. But taking that a step further, one thing that I've seen customers do, which is particularly interesting, is our generate QR code feature is going to give them a direct link to that process. So one thing I've seen is, in the HVAC world is, you do the annual boiler maintenance. You put a sticker on the boiler like, hey, we came to do the maintenance on this date. This is how long it's valid for. And then they're printing out an actual little QR code, and that QR code is for the next technician that passes by, so that they have the exact process they should be following for that particular model. So that's one thing that I've seen that's pretty innovative, just on the customer side, like how customers are actually using Whale. So bottom line is, through those different ways, through the organization of your folder structure, through these different share functionalities, or taking it even a step further through the Ask Alice that chatbot feature, bottom line is you're making sure that people get the exact information that they want instantly, or very close to instantly, and that there's no complaints of, well, I'm asking you, I'm bothering you, I'm calling you up on the weekend because I couldn't find how to do this myself. Any questions on that before I get into the last element? This is probably the quickest one to get through.
Is there a limit on the recording you can give it?
Yeah, so the limit is in terms of the time, but you're not limited in terms of the amount of recordings that you do. Naturally, we have a thing called AI tokens, and that's how we kind of monetize what you're doing. But technically speaking, there's no limit on the number of recordings that you can provide. If you were to go anything beyond 10 minutes, it's not getting the level of accuracy that you would need. So what we recommend is, like, I have one partner, and his customers are all out in the kitchen renovation and countertop world, and he said, like, just give a smartphone to one of your field teams, and then just have them document their typical day. And what they were able to find is, like, in an 8-hour day, the actual work or the actual stuff that they wanted to create processes around was, a question of maybe a 1 or 2 hours of content, and they were easily able to break that into 10-minute pieces.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions? I know I've been doing quite a monologue.
A lot of the guys do will book holidays through. At the minute, we're using Sage. We're looking to change, but they would do it on their phone. Are you able to do videos on a mobile phone as well? Like, are you able to record your screen or do the same thing that you're doing on a desktop, but on a mobile?
For creating the actual processes, you would do that on the desktop. Luckily in that kind of example of using software, if you're only creating this process once or a few number of times, that's easily something that can be done on a desktop. I can understand that there would be certain processes that you're doing out in the field where it's a little bit more difficult to document the process on a mobile. So we're just from a product development perspective, we are taking a hard look at our mobile functionality and our mobile features. We do have a mobile app. So I expect that to get a little bit more robust in the coming year here.
Just going back to the question of the number of videos that you could upload, I'm thinking that an application for the QR code could be a new boiler that's been installed, just a quick customer run through on the basic operation, how to top up the pressure, how the controls work, and then have a unique code for that boiler printed on the boiler for the customer to refer to.
That's an excellent idea, and it takes an entire step further. Is like, how do you reduce the burden on your business when it comes to supporting customers? So making sure that the satisfaction that they have with your services increases without them burdening you with, for lack of a better term, easy to answer questions. That's a great idea. So I'll be, if you don't mind me stealing that,
No,
I'll run away with that.
excellent.
Great. And if there's no other questions for the moment, the last component that I'll go over in Whale. So naturally there's a richness of features, but I wanted to keep it down to these three essential elements. But the last element is everything related to training. So, you've created the processes, they're accessible to everybody, but how do you make sure that they're actually consuming this stuff? Training is one word, but I think a better way to describe this third element is really accountability. So how do I keep my employees accountable? And this becomes really important when we're talking about any sort of processes related to safety and compliance, because you're going to want some sort of paper trail that shows, we were fully compliant with that situation. Every employee that we employ, they go through this safety training. They've been shown how to properly operate XYZ piece of equipment. And I've got the paper trail here that shows that they went through that training flow, that they completed that training, and we did everything in our power to make sure that they were up to snuff on that particular process. But then also on a learning level, like if you don't put any systems in place to make sure that people are actually consuming the content, then sometimes this is just sort of something they have access to but don't necessarily consume. So on a very basic level, if I have a specific card within Whale and I want to make sure, like, okay, Bob is just come on board. I want to make sure that Bob is specifically learning how to replace the cartridge on this printer. I'm going to share it, and then I'm going to assign it to, I'm going to assign this specific piece to either a specific user or a specific group of users. So Bob needs to read this, or every person in the maintenance team needs to be reading this specific piece of content. So I think all of our example users are people from the show Mad Men. The only one I know, I've never seen Mad Men, so I think Don Draper is somebody there. So here I can make sure that that's assigned to this specific user. I can set a specific due date. I can add specific comments on how they need to consume that content or what have you. And then on top of that, I can make sure that they're performing a quiz after I've assigned them this particular reading, and I'll get into quizzes. So quizzes are naturally how you make sure that the knowledge is retained and reinforced after you've made it available to people. You can manually create a quiz. So if you say, I know exactly how I want to ask them these questions. I have a very concrete idea on what I want this quiz to be. That's possible. But again, what Whale's able to do is reducing that burden on you for the actual creation of this content, the time that you spend typing. So you can actually have quizzes generated based off of the content that you provide. So if I go into, I want to create a quiz related to our design software at our company. I'll do general design software quiz. I can specify things like the amount of questions I want. I can set the level of difficulty. I can, say whether, one answer is appropriate or multiple answers are possible. And then the AI is going to generate the quiz for me. I had to do this for, oh yeah, there is no actual, that's just example content. Let's find one that's actually got stuff in it. I had to do this for our partner workspace, and what would have taken me 2 days took about an hour, and that was because I was being picky. So here it's asking questions about the content and proposing suitable multiple choice answers based off of the level of difficulty that you've set. And then taking that a step further, so based off of how you want your the people in your team learning, you can set certain training flows. So let's take an example of the safety training flow, and there are going to be a number of steps here. So as soon as an individual Whale user or a group of users, so a field engineer or all field engineers are added to this training flow, they will automatically receive a reading assignment. So they have to go through the safety and compliance, the workplace safety standards reading. You can set a specific delay. So they have 2 days to go through that. And then at the end, I'm going to give them additional reading assignments, or I'm going to give them a quiz. And then once the entire training flow is completed, you can assign badges. And that's a good way to kind of certify different people within your organization. So you can know concretely, all right, this person has done the safety training. So, this new hire is ready to go out in the field. They've done all the necessary trainings, and I've got a paper trail here that shows me that they did. I should mention that as for any typical software, there's analytics and insights available into this, so you can actually see like, what kind of performance they had on the quizzes, how long it took them to do it, things like that. That is that last element, and that kind of brings me to a close here. Any last questions on Whale? Any practical questions? Anything like that?
What's the like you said, you obviously pay by credits with AI. What are what costs are they? Is there an easy way to explain that, or is it obviously different on the size of your business and things like that? But
yeah, so the only thing that we that is linked to tokens are those AI creation elements, and that's because it represents a cost on our back end. But you depending on which package you pick, you get a certain allocation of credits per month, and then if you run out of credits, then you can always purchase more.
Okay.
Brilliant. Michael, that's really good, like really insightful. And I've learned quite a bit, and I've been using Whale for years. So that was really beneficial. And I'm going to go back and tweak loads of things which we use on Whale at the minute. I know every month you're emailing me with updates and stuff like that, but sometimes it's hard to keep updated with the updates.
Yeah, it's and I'm getting like direct updates from the engineering team, and it's like that's the hardest part of my job is like keeping track of everything that's coming out. So yeah, a lot has changed in the past month, in the past 6 months. it's quite remarkable.
Yeah, it's magic. I do have a quick question though. So at the start when you showed us I suppose the screen sharing, and you went on to Listo, and you then the demonstration on that, is
Yeah.
it strictly for websites only, or for example, could I create the screen sharing to create me a SOP when I'm exploring my computer? So for example, if I'm showing an employee where to save something every time we get something in, like where should that be saved, so the process can be recorded and turned into a SOP for that?
Yeah, that's actually something that was recently added because that was in high demand. So previously, it was only possible to do things within your web browser, the recording. Now that's been expanded to actual apps on your computer. So if you need to go off piste, you need to go off of the browser, open up a specific application in your computer, that can be done.
Yeah, that is going to be valuable for a lot of people's admin teams, and how they navigate their internal folders and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
impressive stuff. Anyone got any more questions for Michael?
Just a quick one then, because I don't know if you know what a Notion board is, but I use Notion, and I've got a Notion board for the engineering side for the guys there, and I've got various procedures and how tos on various things. Can I take those as essentially as PDFs and import them into Whale?
Yeah, as far as I know, Notion has that export to PDF functionality. So what you would do is you would take those PDFs, and like I think I still got my screen share going here. So like I mentioned, here we would use the convert documents to cards functionality. So whatever PDF you've got from Notion, Whale is turning that into a playbook, and again, a playbook is a series of cards. Or it's converting it to an individual card, depending on which is most relevant. And then our customer success team has a lot of experience with companies that are going from using Notion to using Whale, or using the two in complement to one another. So yeah, it's something we've done.
And after importing a PDF, then there's the ability to edit and add various things. And can that be multimedia? I'm sorry if you covered that and I missed it. But could I then say, here's a video with a how-to or an additional piece of information on that particular page or board?
Yeah, what it's going to do is it's going to convert into a Whale playbook or a Whale card. In the Whale card, you can actually edit the copy. So if anything wrong happened with the conversion, if there's any details you need to add in there, that's something that you can type. And then also from a multimedia perspective, if you want to put in videos, images, or things like that, that can be done.
Superb. Thank you.
Ian, just added on to that, Business in a Box was initially on Notion. So all the resources from Notion got moved over to Whale by the Whale team.
Okay.
And then Business in a Box got populated on Whale. So yeah, all the information from Business in a Box is on Whale now. So Michael, do you have an integration team that could potentially take everything and
Yeah, that's one of the functions of our customer success team is they we call them migrations. So any sort of a documentation that you have and you're looking to make a move towards Whale, they're gonna guide you through that process and make sure it's done in the best way, so that no knowledge is lost, or making sure that the knowledge that you do have documented somewhere else is kind of adapted so it can be used best in Whale.
Excellent, thank you.
On the flip side of that, can you download the entire Whale information playbooks so you've got a backup?
Yeah. So what I would do in that case is you do have the export. You have the export functionalities, so you can either export the link or export to PDF. So if you want that PDF hard copy of your processes, you could do that. Now, downloading the entire everything in like a zip file, technically it doesn't sound impossible, but I just specifically haven't had that case pop up. But that's something I can look up.
Magic.
Great. So thank you so much for having me today. I'm our partnership manager here at Whale. And if you have any questions about Whale, feel free to reach out to Aaron or myself, and we'll make sure you get answers and assistance. But it's been a pleasure to speak with you today. And yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Mark, you've been great. You've been great. All right.
Great. Take care,
I
everybody.
appreciate this. I really enjoyed that, and like I said, I've been using Well for years, and to see some of the features there was a bit mind blowing for me. Right, gents, I'm going to crack on with the rest of the webinar if you're all happy with that, because I'm conscious of everyone's time and we've got quite a bit to follow. Well, sorry, to complete by the end of it. So, like I said, it's quite an intimate group, so please sort of like butt in or jump in or ask questions as we go. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, so so dive into the book then. So as I mentioned before, the first half of the book is basically theory, get across business theory, and now the second half of the book, which we're fully in now, is we're going to dive into the different departments. So the first department which we tackle in the book is operations. So just to give you a bit of help in the book, at the top of each page, on the right hand page, it's all color coordinated. So the first section is in like navy blue to show you business theory. We've then got the business departments, which is in a bit of a light greeny blue color, and then the smallest section at the back is like grey, and that's like the ending chapters. So one thing I do need to say is that because we're covering operations, was the hardest chapter for me to write. The reason being, as you all know, I'm not an engineer, so in writing the operations department, what I've sort of done is I've just utilised the information which I know from running a plumbing heating business from a finance perspective, and also the 9 drivers of profit, and 2 of the main drivers of profit which actually fall within the operations department, and they are managing your variable and fixed costs. So when I was writing the operations department, I had that in mind. I was like, I didn't want to tell you guys to suck eggs, how to do your job, how to change boilers, how to service equipment, because that's just not me and that's not what I'm about. So instead, I'm like, right, I'll tackle it from my angle. And my angle is, how can I help you manage your variable and fixed costs within your business, which falls sternly within the operations department. Now, I'm a bit rushed for time because it did actually go over, which is fine. So, yeah, so as I'm talking, it's literally helping you guys reduce your variable costs, reduce your fixed costs, which ultimately is going to increase your profit. So, one of the first sections in the operations department is we look at like man versus machine, and having Michael do that demonstration on Well sort of like shows you how good and how well machines can actually create SOPs, can help you run your business, can do everything basically. So always weigh up the man versus machine costs, and seeing how Michael just created an SOP just from typing a few sentences, and then the business industry and an SOP was created. You can see how using AI, automation, technology is massively in your favor. And we're in that age. We're literally in that age of computers and AI and stuff like that. So literally massively embrace it. And hopefully you've all got your own CRMs that are embracing that as well. And you can probably see how the industry is shaping because of AI and automation. But as you know, nothing in business is free. Yeah, so even the cost of software, it's not free, and it's not going to go down, especially when the efficiencies you can achieve from utilizing software is great. Yeah, just don't be scared, afraid of AI. And business systems and computers and stuff like that. I'm actually going to go to an example today. I was speaking to a plumbing heating business, and I was reviewing his books, and he's actually with a different accountant, but he's going to move over to Together Account soon. And I was looking at his debtors list about the customers who owe him money, and it's a high 5 figures. It's not quite 6 figures, but it's a lot of money. And the client, I said, look, have you thought about ways to make your clients pay quicker, like Stripe, go cardless? flipping Bitcoin, whatever, to make your customers pay faster. And his response was, no, I don't really use Stripe. They take about 3% of 3 or 4% of my of my income. But my response was like, you're looking at it all wrong, mate. You owed like 80 odd grand and you're owing about 4% bank fee. Take the 4% bank fee and make sure your customers pay up front. So it's again, it's using the man or machine. Are you going to pay some money out to make sure your customers pay, or you're not going to, or you're going to use the human element to have credit control to get your customers to pay? There is a cost to everything in business. You might not always see it, but there is definitely a cost. So I suppose does everyone here, are they really embracing technology? Are they using Stripe? Are they using automation? Are they using?
Yeah, we use SumUp.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Stripe might be a little bit better, but yeah.
But they all do the same job. I mean, as long as your customer, basically taking the friction away from your customers paying you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're making it easier for people to pay, because ultimately, if they don't pay, that's a phone call. That's a human cost. That is the man cost of not using the machine, if you like. Yeah. Yeah. So there's always a hidden cost. And CRMs, is everyone here? There's only 4 people here, but is everyone here embracing CRMs and using?
We use ServiceMate.
Yeah.
Yeah, service mate.
Yeah.
I use like one I've kind of made myself. I sort of maybe using like the Microsoft as to kind of do it, but kind of basing it on other softwares.
Okay. Good. All right. And if you think about, I suppose, the cost of the software compared to how long it will take you to do what it is the software does, the software pays for itself in my eyes. It massively pays for itself. So yeah, just I don't like to teach you to suck eggs, but software is your friend. Right, so let's move on a little bit. So we're going to talk about the cheap, fast, quality concept. Now, is this new to anyone? Has anyone come across this before reading the book, or have they heard of it before? Is it?
Yeah, it's new to me.
Yeah. Okay, but does it resonate, Jack? Did it set off a lot?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, my missus actually told me about this. So it was, when I heard it, I was like, oh my God, like, it does make sense. So, Jack, can I ask you, do you qualify? Do you do 2 of the 3? Like, do you try to be all 3? Like, what do you? Where do you?
I would say, we would. I would say we're like a mid. Yeah, we sort of offer a good quality, but we're definitely not the cheapest. No.
Okay, good. Yeah. So quality and fast, but then you're not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Ian, what would you say you are?
Definitely quality. Often not fast, but always high quality.
Yeah. Kelly, do you want to let us know what you guys are over there?
Yeah, we're definitely quality. Sometimes can be fast, but we're not cheap, and we sometimes do get customers saying, well, that quote's a bit too high. But yeah, but we do offer quality.
Good.
As fast as we can.
Yeah. Good. I love it when people tell me I'm expensive, because that means that my pricing is like where it needs to be, if you like. And I've got plumbing and heating clients that are the same. Like they don't want to win every quote. They don't want to win every quote. So if they do, they're too cheap. So it's finding that balance between quality and fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can flip this on the other side, and when you're buying materials as well, like, what do you go for? Do you go for quality and fast, and therefore it's not going to be cheap, or do you go for quality and cheap, and therefore you know it's going to be a long lead time to receive that? Because you can see it from both sides of business, being a customer and a supplier. Good.
Yeah, I use City Plumbing, so they're not cheap, and they're often not fast, and the quality is terrible sometimes. But yeah, I need to change suppliers, I think.
Okay. All right. I suppose that's one of another chapter, another section of the book is doing a supplier audit, and looking at the prices, looking at your prices of merchants, comparing it with Wolseley or Plumbase or whoever else, or even a local one, and seeing where they fall and fit.
Yeah, see, ours are, we use Travis Perkins for loads of stuff, which isn't like a normal. It's not like a go-to plumbing, so they're cheap, but they're slow because you're going in there, you're having to pick everything yourself and stuff. So I'm trying to put things in place where we will order it and get them to pick it and deliver it to my yard, but that needs to be organised and things like that. But it's trying to utilize their time rather than my guys' time, like spending half an hour in a merchant's when if they went into Plum Centre, they'd probably be in there 10 minutes, but they're spending that, it costs more money. So,
Okay. Hidden cost of your business, um, which you don't often see, like idle time or your team walking up and down the aisles. That's a cost to you. That's a cost to your business in labour. All right, let's talk about capacity. So this is on page 222 where we talk about like the people hours, the amount of people in your business, and then we sort of multiply that by the amount of hours, working hours in a day. That's how you work out capacity. Now this is like it's not leftover capacity, it's capacity which you can actually fulfill within your business. Does anyone do any capacity planning? How do people predict if they need to recruit or if they need to let people go or if they need to utilize subbies? Does anyone have any gauges or SOPs within their business which sort of like sends alarm bells out?
No, and I should.
yeah, I'm not sure how you'd write a SOP for that. Obviously, you would know, but yeah, it seems a hard one for my brain to work out.
Jack, I'll tell you mine. So obviously my business is very different, but you can what I sort of tell you, you can obviously like translate it and put it in your own business. Every day I'll get one of my PAs to email me what everyone's done the previous day, and we compare that to the amount of hours they're assigned to do. First of all, to see if they're over or under their hourly rate, their time which they're meant to spend in the business. So if they're under, that tells me that there's capacity in the business in the sense of they're not doing they haven't got enough work or doing enough work. And now if they're doing overtime, then that tells me that I've got either too many clients or not enough staff. Yeah, so you might be able to look at your engineers' timesheets. I mean, do you pay your engineers on salary or are they on pay per hour like in daily?
Hourly, yeah,
Yeah, so do they do timesheets?
yes.
Okay, so look at but do they just fill out like 8 hours a day, or they clock it hour by hour?
They will do it job by job. So if they've been on one job for 8 hours, that'll be in there. If they've been on 5 jobs, that'll be per job.
Okay, does that include travel time?
Yeah, that'll be factored into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you could say, I mean, this dives on deeper in the book where we do talk about the different types of engineers when you've got installers versus service engineers,
Maintenance, yeah.
or jobbing engineers, and you can say, well, service engineer they need to be doing 5 calls, and if they're doing 4 calls or 3 calls, then that's a capacity issue.
Yeah.
If an installer's doing 8 hours in a day, perfect. But if he's doing, say, 12 hours in a day, then you need to think about why. And if you're paying him or her overtime or double time or out of hours time because they're doing 12 hours in a day, you can reduce your cost down as a business by shifting that burden onto someone else by paying someone a normal salary as opposed to overtime.
Sure.
Yeah, does that resonate? Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you might want to, if you've got a team or even AI, you can get something to analyze out the team's timesheets and see whether you're under capacity, over capacity, whether you need to hire, whether you need to, what you need to do. It just gives you clarity as a business owner. This does so basically within operations, we're looking at variable and fixed costs. The people cost within your business is one of the biggest costs for any plumbing and heating business. So people and materials. So us talking about this now is massively important for your gross profit, margins. Yeah, and obviously that's going to fall down to help profit. So go away. Literally some homework there. Go away. Like look at your capacity, and even ask the people: Are overworked, you're underworked, you need more work. Yeah, literally ask them as well. That's another indicator, another feedback loop within your business. Does that make sense? Does anyone got any questions on that, or is that all good? Yeah. Okay. Good. Right. Let's move on to another like a major variable cost control within your business. Now it's purchase orders. So basically, control your purchase with purchase orders. So who here, like again, shout out to me. Does anyone that have purchase orders within their business?
No.
No, it's something we keep trying to do, but yeah, we haven't.
Okay. So people can just order stock willy nilly. They can just crack on and spend your money basically.
So the way that is policed by us is, like I said, I would say nearly all of our gear comes from one place. Is the other director is a accountant and a plumber, and he will just go, like, it's a bit of a boring task, but he will just go through and just check, and he'll pick up things like, oh well, why have they brought that spanner? Why is this? Why is that? Like, I just kind of leave it to him, but it would make things a lot easier sorting out on the front end. Just at the minute, it would put a big block in us for lots of things. But yeah, or maybe I'm trying to make it perfect before I've done it. Maybe, I don't know.
So you're doing
We've
the
got-
checks after you've done it. Sorry, Ian, go on.
Yeah, sorry.
Go on.
Sorry, no, Jack, go on. Carry on.
No, we're not doing a PO afterwards. I'm just saying he checks through the invoices. He will open the invoices and have a scroll through, and like he in his head is aware of what's going on. But yeah, in terms of POs and things, that is something that we're obviously wanting to do, but just something we haven't done yet.
Yeah, we've not had the admin side to be able to raise the purchase orders, so it just slowed down the process. So the guys were picking stuff up, but what we found there was another company with a similar name, or there's a couple. We're Edinburgh Heating, there's loads of us with similar names. We're finding purchases that were not on our account, that were not for us. And so now we've got it. It's City Plumbing, so it's part of Travis Perkins anyway. We've got it that they've got to have the 5-digit job number against a purchase. And now I'm trying to get City to email back to us, because the new version of Service Mate will import that straight into the job and analyze the profit. So it'd soon throw up some sort of anomaly.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it might be that Travis Perkins could do that for you.
Yeah.
It certainly stopped the random purchases, that's for sure. But I don't know about guys just chucking on a spanner onto the job and hoping to get away with it.
Control your costs. Massively control your costs. Yeah. And if the lads or the girls are buying materials, get them to produce the PO. Ultimately, if they're going somewhere and saying, I need this and that, and then they get the price off the merchant and say, yeah, it's going to cost X amount, your lads can then go onto your Surface Mate and generate the purchase order and say, £200 for Mrs. Smith, this is the address. And that again, that helps you then manage costs within individual jobs. So like Ian said, you can then get profit and losses on each job. If you do have a PO system, the engineers can do it. The admin, the people in the call center, the office, they can do it. Multiple people can do it. You can even set limits and say, look, anything over £500 needs to be pre-approved by a director or by so and so before it goes through. So you can have controls within your business just to make sure that the main cost within your business is controlled. And
I think what's like, I know it is for the best. And what I've seen in merchants is you see the bigger companies or the councils, and you'll see 4 blokes in there standing around waiting for the office staff to call them with a PO number, and they're like, oh, well, I haven't got nothing yet, and they stood there with their tablet for 20 minutes, and they'll just sit, and I think, okay, well, what's the trade-off here? Maybe, yeah.
It's again, it is a hidden cost, and I'll move on to this now. Actually, we've got something called just in time. So just in time stock delivery. That's when you're literally. I'm a big advocate that you shouldn't have loads of stock sitting in your offices or in your vans or in your storerooms, because you don't need to. The amount of merchants there are, in all the towns and cities around us. They hold all the stock. All you've got to do is order and get them delivered to your premises. Now, the reason why I'm sort of jumping to this slide now is because I'm having an extension at the minute, and the builders are actually utilizing the just-in-time stock management control, if you like, where materials are just delivered to site when they need it. And don't get me wrong, there is a bit of idle time where they're twiddling their thumbs while they've got nothing to do because they are waiting for juicings or whatever to drop off the materials. So there's always a cost within business. Is that idle time them sitting on site not doing nothing, or is it them waiting for a PO system in the merchant, or is it them shopping up and down the aisles, or is it getting your shit in order and making sure that the materials are ordered the night before, so it's ready for people to pick up the materials from the merchant straight away or get delivered to site. It's something in business you sort of need to, like, you could take a really good look at just to make sure that there is no idle time. And this sort of goes back to me saying about checking timesheets or making sure engineers are as efficient as possible. Can you see within their timesheets whether they have spent half an hour in a merchant or from their trackers? And then in which case, can you change anything in your business to make sure this doesn't happen? One of the first things I said, well, we'll talk about in the book, is about Kaizen, constant small improvements. And these little tweaks within your business will over time compound and improve efficiencies. So yeah, spot things and then sort of act on it if you like. But I think PO's a godsend. You can get people to approve the PO so they can be signed off. Once the invoice comes, the invoice will have a PO number on it, so you can check the net amount against what you've been invoiced as well. So any discrepancies, you can actually flag it with your supplier. So I'm not paying that because you charged me £10 more than what you quoted, or per the PO, or we didn't actually receive this item because my team check off the delivery note against the PO and against everything else like that. So you can really just like put the pressure back on your merchants, and let them know that you mean business. Yeah. So within the sorry, is that all good? Any questions on that front? Okay, good. Sometimes I do rabbit on a little bit and also talk a bit quick. And some of these things which we've been talking about, like in like today, if you like, cover something which we call the false economy. So it's seeing costs within your business which you don't actually see or you don't actually realise happen. So just to give you an example of a false economy, I went shopping the other day. I went to Asda, but had a load of fruit. I couldn't be bothered to pay 40p for a bag, so I ended up dropping all my fruit. That's a false economy. It's something you don't see happen. If I'd have done was just paid 40p and got a plastic bag, I could have saved myself wasting all my shopping and whatever. But I suppose the reason why I'm sort of saying that's an example of a false economy, me just dropping my shopping and wasting it. But what other false economies are there within your business? So, for example, if you're going to a job on a Friday, or you don't want to do it and you want to rush off and finish it quick, and you then get a call back, that's a false economy. It's stuff within your business which hasn't, you don't foresee the costs, and it sort of happens. It costs you down the line.
Holding stock on your van unnecessarily could, if it gets damaged on your van and it's been sat on your van for a few weeks. Same, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. And the merchant won't take it back because the packaging's shit, or it's got a dent on it, or something like that. Yeah, it's all false economies and costs within your business which you don't always see. But you guys being like the head of the helm, if you like, look down on your business and oversee it and make sure that these leakages within your businesses aren't happening, because it all affects your variable costs, and by affecting your variable costs or controlling your variable costs, you can then control your profit. Okay, so I sort of covered that. That's sort of everything my end, and to cover the operations side of the business. So yeah, has anyone got any questions or anything? Or
When it comes to POs, are you doing that through your accounting software, or are you doing that as a like what's the best way? Like at the moment we use Sage. I'm not overly happy with it. I think we're maybe going to switch to Xero, although it's obviously going to be a big task. But again, I guess talking about like integration, this is probably a little bit off topic. topic, but would there be like integration people at Xero that would help us switch over, and then we can start implementing POs and stuff like that?
Yeah, so my experience with people that do utilize POs is they do it from within their CRM. They don't do it from within Xero.
And why is that?
Okay, the main reason being, so a letting agent, so for example, on Xero, that'll be Downers, I don't know, Blundell's. And you'll just invoice Blundell's, but within your CRM, you'll have the individual property who the POs attached to.
Yes.
So you can have you can have one delivery address, you can have one invoice address or one contact address on Xero as well as a delivery address. So the POs won't cut it within Xero. So linking it back to your CRM is where they need to be housed. I don't think Jack, I need to distract you. I'm a Xero only practice. I only use Xero. We don't use QuickBooks. We don't use Sage or anything like that. We're a Xero only practice. So I think Xero is the best software out there, but it's not going to cut it for a plumbing and heating business for the PO requirements which they need, especially if you want to allocate the PO to a customer to then have individual P&Ls.
And then would you then upload that PO into Xero, or is it a completely separate entity?
No, you don't need to. You don't need to. So see the PO as a standalone document, and all the PO is an individual reference number. So it could be like 1234, like the PO 1234. You then use that reference number to give to a merchant when you order materials. That merchant then puts that PO on their purchase invoice. So when you receive that purchase invoice, you then check that PO number, PO 1234, against the invoice from the merchant, which is also quoted in the reference, PO 1234. You match them, you tally them off. That PO does not need to be uploaded into Xero because it's not a purchase invoice.
Okay, understood.
It's a standalone document. See it as this way: you go to a restaurant, you pay with your credit card, they give you the menu, they give you the receipt, and then separately they give you the credit card receipt. All which needs to go up to Xero or the computer is the receipt, is the bill, not the credit card receipt.
Understood. And again, you have like a Xero only round way. So say I was to come to you and say, Aaron, I want you to come and work with us. Like, do you help us integrate to Xero? Does Xero help us integrate into Xero, or like?
Yeah. There's something called Move My Books. It's a bit of software where you literally scrape all of the data from Sage for the last 2 years, and it literally pushes it straight through to Xero.
And it's good. Obviously, there's going to be bugs in there, but
90% good. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It needs checking by an accountant after, but yeah, all your suppliers, all the names, like nominal ledgers, everything just gets migrated over. Yeah, yes, it's a good bit of kit, a really good bit of kit. Yeah. Sound right. Anything else I can help you guys with?
Not for me, no. I learned quite a bit today.
Just looking at purchase orders on ServiceMate, and I don't see where they are. I take it they're available as part of the ServiceMate package?
I'd assume so. Yeah,
I'll have a rummage around.
Yeah, you might have to like turn it on. I know ServiceMate, you have to turn on things, don't you?
Yeah, little add-on.
Yeah.
I've not found anything on ServiceMate either. I haven't looked properly, but
I was just looking at the add-ons. There's something at $15 a month, but yeah, I just wondered whether there was something built in.
You guys that use ServiceMate, do you rate it? Do you feel that you couldn't live without it? How have you found it compared to other CRMs? If you've used other CRMs, is it like night and day, or is it?
Yeah.
What do you use, Jack?
Again, so we started off with Gas Engineer software, and it sort of wasn't quite cutting it, and we went over to Job Logic, but it just wasn't what they'd sold us. It just wasn't what that was, and I didn't want to go down that trap of I sort of worked out then that sort of some software salesmen can be sort of sell you the dream kind of thing. And I just didn't want to get down that trap again. So at the moment, I use Microsoft, and I've made a interface that when you put a job on, it adds it to calendar, it adds it to planner, and we update everything. And I'm trying to because it has AI built in. I'm just trying to make it myself. But obviously, some days I think to myself, what the hell am I doing? Some days I think to myself, this is the best idea I've ever had. So I'm really on the fence at the minute.
I'd suggest you chat to Jamie Cureton. He's got a company called Flow State. He's an ex-plumbing and heating guy, and he started using ServiceMate and then built out a whole load of stuff onto it because it's kind of like open source. So he's built all the stuff, all the forms, everything you need. It's bloody good. I couldn't live
Yeah.
without it, and it's not expensive. We were on Commusoft before, and it was just clunky. And gone on to ServiceMate is brilliant. And Jamie's a sound lad. He'll help you out. Any questions, super responsive. He's got a whole load of AI built into his WhatsApp thing, so you can ask questions. And then there's a sort of back end community of people helping each other out with questions, techie questions. I'll go on tonight and ask about purchase orders. I'll have my answer in minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Anything you built yourself will not be as good as anything Jamie's built. No disrespect, but that's what
No,
he
no,
does.
definitely not.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I echo that.
And Jack, going on to what you're saying about you building your own CRM. So when Well done their demonstration today, there was a load of new features which I hadn't seen before. When you invest in a CRM, they bring out features which you can then utilize.
Yeah, but like I said, I was hoping to go on the back of Microsoft already within. So I use a thing called Power Apps, and I've like made it myself, or I've made it sort of with somebody. But there's already Power App agents, so I literally went on there, created an agent, and like was having a mess around with it, and it just like learned, and it said, "Do you want me to book a service?" I'm like, "Yeah," and like it will come. I'm sort of hedging my bets on that AI will come in Microsoft. But yeah, maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see.
Happy days. Happy days.
Certainly, ServiceMate has been designed for service businesses. So,
Yeah.
and they've got a team now. They're a company that are growing really fast, and their updates are coming every year. And there's a whole team constantly working on improving the system and staying ahead of the game. So, yeah, Commusoft were doing nothing like that. They really are aggressive in the way that they're trying to grow their service business. It's brilliant.
Nice.
And they're cheap.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, very cheap. Yeah.
For what
Yeah,
they
it's like
offer.
$350 a month, I think, was what because that's the thing I found with Job Logic. We're like I think we've got like 18 engineers. So as soon as like I don't know, they want £40 a month, that's hiking up. And then the thing that's fine is again with anything with AI, people say, "Oh, AI, oh, you want AI credits or you want AI this," and the price just skyrockets.
Yeah. No, ServiceMate, I think we're probably hovering about £100 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. But Jamie took, I think we were one of his first customers, so it might be more expensive, but it was something like £1,800 plus VAT to build out the system. Best move I've ever made.
Nice.
It's one of those things. If you're thinking about it, don't hesitate. It's a game
Okay.
changer. All these automations, service reminders, the sort of follow up stuff, review requests, the whole lot is all built in.
Nice.
Yeah, we went from 100 reviews to 200 reviews in like 3 or 4 months.
No, wow.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Nice.
And you can build in systems into it. So when you assign a job to an engineer, you can have a checklist. You know, I'm big on checklists and making sure that everything's as you want it. So CRM,
Yes, you then use that like a SOP.
exactly
Yes.
that. Exactly that. And what I always say about Well is like the software which sort of cuddles your business and gives it a wraparound. But you're going to have different areas where the SOPs are best off housed. Everything to do with operations, house it within ServiceMate, house it within your CRM. Everything else have it within Well, but Well just cuddles it to say so, and it's written within Well, so you know that if you need to find an operation a system for your operations, then just directs it to service mate or whatever. So, or does that screen sharing feature where you record it and you show where to find it. So that could be housed within well, but when your field engineers are out doing stuff, the checklists and stuff like that are there. So they have to complete a checklist before they complete the job. And then complete a job, they don't get paid. And you don't get paid as well. So, or the invoice doesn't get generated. So the functionality within Service Mate is really good. And I would just see it from the back end. I just see the service, the sales invoices coming through to zero. But yeah, I do highly rate it as well.
Nice.
What are you on, Tom? Do you use a CRM or anything?
Service Mate, yeah.
Oh, Service Mate. Okay, you got Service Mate.
Yeah, similar
system.
Similar story. Came from CommuSoft. Got a bit fed up with them in the end because they were just not developing and super overpriced. And Service Mate is just completely the opposite. Awesome bit of kit.
Are you using Jamie's system?
Yes, I'm implementing a lot of it. I kind of cheated, watched a lot of his videos and did it all myself.
Fair enough.
Happy days. Happy days. Right. I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, unless anyone's got any other questions or anything else you want to quiz me on or any feedback or anything.
No, all good.
I felt a rush
for next week.
Yeah, I felt a rush through this because because I had like a small window. But is your operational side of the business clear with everyone? Like it's use it to make sure you're controlling your variable costs. Your variable costs are your labour and your materials. So really control that is the main gist, of this section.
Sure, no, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nice one. Sweet. I'll see you all next month, and I'll make sure you get an email. Megan's no longer my PA, so I'm sorry if an email didn't go out today, but I'll make sure it does go.
No, John. Nice one.
Next one. Okay.
Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a
Bye-bye.
lot.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.